Deon Joseph has written a letter to LeBron James. As some have put it, he's laid down the gauntlet, and the question is, will LeBron pick it up? Welcome to Escaping the Echo Chamber. Now, that's how some have put it. Some have tried to describe this in a very confrontational manner, as if Deon Joseph is challenging LeBron. But that's not really how he's done it. That's not how he's approached it. That's not been his tone. And it seems that he's much more interested in starting a conversation. And that's what I like about it. That's what I appreciate. I appreciate the ability of this cop to reach out to LeBron and say, hey, let's talk, please. Or even if you don't want to talk to me, please talk to a cop, talk to an officer. But I don't want him to talk to any officer. I want him to talk to that officer, because there are so many other cops who have taken an adversarial, and not just cops. You know, you've got right-wing pundits who are just being ridiculous, and they're using it for clout. You've got clowns like Leo Terrell who just yell over everybody and use this to foment this fake outrage and get himself on, every show on Fox News that he can. Like that's his goal right now. So he just has to be as hyperbolic as he possibly could be, and so he'll say just ridiculous stuff, and other pundits will say stupid stuff just for clicks, just to feel and stay relevant, and not to feel relevant. It's more so for the money. That's what a lot of these clowns are in it for. But there's some of us that actually care about people, actually care about policy, and actually care about progress. We want to solve problems. There are some of us who care about that. I think LeBron James is one of those people. I think Officer Deon Joseph is another one of those people. I don't like government. I don't like cops because cops are the agents of government. I know cops are not the beginning and end of my dislike and my the problems I have. I know cops are following orders. I know legislators and executive politicians are the ones that are responsible for so much more, because they're the ones calling the shots. They're the ones sending cops out there. Nonetheless, even if I don't like government, even if I don't like policing as it currently is situated, I understand that police are individuals. It's that I didn't always appreciate that. I knew it intellectually, but emotionally, I did at points in time in the past feel like, hey, fuck all of them. That was my feeling at one point in time. But that's why I think this is so important, because I know that that's a feeling of a lot of people. Especially, listen, when people look at, why are black people like so adversarial against cops? So, well, let's just take a look at what the government has done to black people in this country. Once you acknowledge that, you realize why the government has been hostile. The government has been criminal. The government has been criminal and atrocious to black people in this country. So that's why black people feel a certain way about government, about police, about law enforcement, because it's like this system did not exist to help black people. It was a boot on our neck. For other people, it's a boot to lick. Hey, it is what it is. But you see that? You see what I just did there? That's what I'm not supposed to do, especially when discussing a story like this. And that's why I like what Deon Joseph did. By the way, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. If you dislike my content, you dislike my approach, if you dislike what's happening with the very respectful approach that Deon Joseph has towards LeBron James, feel free to give me a thumbs down. Feel free to give this video a thumbs down. But say why in the comment section. Because there are some people I know who want to keep this outrage going. There are some people who want, yes, I hate them, them being, civilians. There's some who want, I hate the police. And they just want to keep this adversarial thing going. That's not good for anybody. I particularly think that police and the public can come to an understanding and start realizing who really is the enemy. That's one of the things I envision in the future. However, in as it is situated right now, this situation with LeBron and Deon Joseph, I think, has the potential to be a really positive thing. Do you remember the beer summit? That I didn't like because you had a cop that was acting stupidly, but Obama was trying to save face with some segment of his base, or just with some segment of the voting population, and so he called for that beer summit to kiss ass. I think this is different. I think this is about two people who actually, correction, I think this is about a cop who actually respects LeBron. And let's take a look at what he wrote.
Okay, so the first thing I really find interesting is that he no hatred. He's not coming from a place of hatred, no name calling, and that already makes it light years better than so much of this other dialogue. He acknowledges what LeBron does for kids, um, and then he talks about how he feels the cop actually saved this woman's life. Um, he does talk about how he thinks LeBron should have apologized, but instead he deflected. And he says he doesn't know if it's ever going to reach him, but he thinks that they can sit down and discuss certain things because he's tired of police brutality, he's tired of racism, but he doesn't want to paint all cops with that broad brush. Um, he says, he wants to have the conversation and show LeBron that he's not the monster he thinks LeBron thinks he is. And no, like he says, no cameras, just two men who care talking. And this is an opportunity, an effort to build a bridge, which I think would be amazing. And if it happens, I think I think the world will be better for it. I really do.
That letter was, I really like that letter because it really approached LeBron with, listen, I don't hate you, LeBron. In fact, it sounds almost as if he's a fan. Well, I mean, he's an LAPD officer. LeBron is a LA fan, is a LA player. LeBron is a Laker player. So of course, like they're right then and there, there's a potential for admiration from the officer to LeBron. But on top of that, his acknowledgement of all of the things that LeBron is doing. If you take a look at people like Laura Ingraham, who just dismiss LeBron because they don't agree with his politics. If he was wearing a MAGA hat, they would love him, which just shows the hypocrisy of so many people. But that's not where this officer is coming from. Where this officer is coming from says, listen, I see what you're doing. I see the you're not just getting your money and saying, screw everybody. You're getting your money and you're like, I can help people. I can actually make a difference in the lives of others. And he is showing respect for that. He appears to appreciate that. And that's what I'm saying. For all the criticisms you could have of LeBron, realizing how good, like his business acumen, his philanthropic efforts are really to be respected, admired, and acknowledged. But there are people who just team sports. Oh, LeBron said something about the cops. Oh, LeBron ain't nothing. Blah blah blah. Just trying to find excuses and acting like LeBron isn't a superstar, like he isn't a great ball player, like he isn't a family man. Like all of these values that so many of these conservatives claim to stand for, and they just ignore all of this positive stuff that LeBron has done and is doing because they want clicks, they want an enemy, and they want to craft LeBron as being this super bad guy, this enemy that must be defeated, owned, destroyed, debunked. It's absurd. It's not just absurd. It shows like a complete and utter lack of intelligence. Yeah, it's just simplistic. It's so simplistic, so juvenile. It's like, people grow up, like act like an adult. Like, okay, you disagree with this thing that LeBron said. I disagree with LeBron said because when he posted the picture. Now, number one, I do disagree with certain things that the officer said, but The fact is that when LeBron posted this picture and talked about accountability, it wasn't a threat of violence. Like, and people really tried to push that fake narrative, which had no basis in fact, reality, or anything resembling common sense. Because he said, "You're next." Okay, you're saying it's a threat of violence. Who was first? What cop had just gotten, like, if he had said, "You're next," the day of or the day after the where was that shooting? Dallas. Was that Dallas? Where the you had the guy that started shooting at cops. Like, had he did then you might say, okay, because context. You're next. This event just happened. Is he talking about that? What just happened? You're next. Chauvin had just gotten convicted. That and then he had hashtag accountability. So stop it. Stop with the fake outrage, the pearl clutching, because like seriously, it's just the snowflakes on the right and the left are just. I'm really getting tired of them. And they're just garbage human beings. Like, stop being such a garbage human beings, really, because you're just trying to foment division, and you're trying to foment division on anything you can. So you want to foment division on race? Okay, you'll try to do that. You'll try to foment division on political ideology. Okay, you try to foment division on between law enforcement and civilians. Like, you're trying to foment division on just anything, and both sides, you're both horrible. You're both just pathetic, sorry excuses for people. But that's why I like what this officer did, and that's why I think LeBron really needs to take him up on this offer. And even like he said, even if LeBron walks away, not changing his mind, the ability to sit down with someone who you don't agree with on everything is a powerful message. And I really like I really like having two black men from two different backgrounds and with two different beliefs sitting down and talk like that because miss a whole bunch of the other nonsense. If you're pro-black, if you're for building the black community, you realize we've got to stop letting stupid stuff divide us. Stupid and artificial distinctions and differences keep us at odds with each other because some clown in the back is like, oh, well he's cop. You shouldn't, like, okay, well, listen. And he called him brother. That's what I'm saying. If we have the ability to connect with each other as two intelligent black men, we can help so many others. And that's what that's how I'm seeing it, as the potential for him to say, listen, LeBron, how can we help improve the black community? LeBron's doing work. This cop, like, hey, I'm doing work. Like, my job is, like, so they can form a bridge. Like, imagine, and this is what I'm saying. There are cops who have stood up, seen nonsense going on and stepped up to the plate and said, hey, no, this got to stop. So forming a relationship with this officer provides the potential to have an ally, to have somebody who could step up to the plate and be like, hey, there's a bunch of corruption going on here. There's lying. There's racist cops in this. Like, so somebody who can actually, now, I don't know if that's the cop he is, but LeBron doesn't know either. And he won't know if he never sits down with him, if he never has a conversation with him. But he can form a relationship, can get to start, connect with this brother and see if they can work together to do something. Maybe they can't. Maybe they're too far apart on the issues. But you know what they still accomplish, even if they're far apart on the issues? They've accomplished setting a standard, setting an example. People, we don't have to just keep sniping at each other and just saying stupid stuff about each other. We can sit down and have conversations. We can sit down and actually listen to what the other people are saying. Because that's what's really missing. That's what's tearing not just America apart, that's tearing humanity apart. An inability to listen. An unwillingness to listen. Thank you for checking out this episode. As always, give me the thumbs up, like, share, subscribe. Like I said, if you don't want to, if you don't like what I've said, if you think, hey, we need more division, then feel free to give me a thumbs down. But I want you to write down in the comment section, if that's why you're giving me the thumbs down, I want you to write in all caps, more division. And I'll address you in a future video or in the comment section. Thank you for checking out this episode, and I'll see you next time.